Good morning, and thank you for joining me again for another morning fast break. I want to talk to you today because I want to continue to share with you that we should not fear. Remember, no fear, just faith. You have nothing to fear. No fear, no fear. But I do recognize that there's a crisis in the land. And oftentimes we deal with crises in different ways. And uh, it depends on when the crisis comes. This crisis, for many of you, has come at a moment of transition because it's very difficult to deal with crisis as it is. But when you're in the transitional mode, it's even worse. The Bible says in Mark, the 4th chapter and the 35th verse, and the same day when the even was come, he saith unto them, let us pass over into the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took him, even as he was in the ship, and there were also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on the pillow. And they wake him, and said to him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? In the moment of transition, we take on great challenges. Here Jesus asked them to go and get on this body of water, probably down in the Galilean basin there, surrounded by mountains to the north and a desert to the south and a Mediterranean Sea to the immediate west. And all these conditions coming down into that valley created the best opportunity for freak and sudden storms. And not just that, going at nighttime when the tide was at its highest, and the seas and the bodies of water are more treacherous. And here they are, and Jesus says, when the evening comes, in this particular place at this particular time, let's go to the other side. It's not the best time, it's not the most opportune time, but it's the time that he has dedicated and decided that it's time for you to move. Of course, we discussed what it means when it's time for us to go. But the challenge is for us to get up and to go when he says go. As I read this text, I notice the disciples don't question Jesus. They don't seem to bother him by telling him the conditions that they are entering in. They don't seem to act as if he is unaware of what awaits them in this challenge. They simply go. They were not ignorant. They had experienced fishermen and seafaring men in the group of disciples that were with Jesus. And so he says, let's go to the other side. While on that journey, transitioning from one place to another, there arises a great storm. And in this storm, there are a few things that I noticed. Two things I noticed were the immediate reactions, or the reactions given to us by the story. The first reaction we have to the storm is Jesus is asleep apart from the storm in the hinder part of the boat with his head on a pillow. He is resting in the middle of the storm. He is an extreme picture of calm. The disciples are the total opposite picture. They are an extreme picture of panic. And what I noticed there was neither reaction had any effect on the storm. So I want to say to you that no matter how it is you react, your reaction is not going to change the situation. The power of change does not lie in your reaction. But don't think that your passionate discomfort is going to make the storm decide to stop making you uncomfortable. Don't think that the fact that you're not fazed by everybody running around with their hair on fire is going to end the fires. No, 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 no. Jesus is calm, the picture of calm. The Bible says that he stands up and he immediately rebukes the storm and speaks to the wind and the rain, says, "Peace, be still." Now, Jesus turns to them and says, "Why were you so fearful?" And the question becomes, how is it that I am so anxious and so upset in the middle of my struggle? How am I so downtrodden, downhearted in the middle of this problem? Why don't you have faith? And the question Jesus asks is not because he expects the disciples to get up and rebuke the wind and the rain, not because he expects them to get up and do what he just did, but he wanted them to trust the fact that if he said, "Let's go," that was good enough to make sure that they would make it. I want to share that with you. Trust his word. Trust his intentions. And trust your destiny. If you can learn to trust those three things, I don't care how the storm looks, how rough it looks, God is going to help you and give you the victory that you need in this situation. No fear, just faith. You have nothing to fear. Hold on. Be strong. Know that God has your back and that you can handle the crisis even in the middle of this transition. Be blessed.